Hi, I'm Heidi Alexandra and you're watching UQTV. As the world around us keeps changing, what we need is a new era of leaders, expander leaders who resonate at a higher level and who look to be of service to the world around them. I recently compiled a list of 50 leaders that I most want to meet and interview for UQTV. And today, I'm pleased to share with you the highlights and insights from one man whom I've admired from afar from a long time. He tops my list as number one, as I believe his philosophy, ethics, and approach to life and business are second to none. I'm pleased today to share with you my learnings from spending time at a leadership gathering with Sir Richard Branson. The gathering was called When Bold Minds, Big Thinkers, and Brave Hearts Come Together. It was the perfect description for what unfolded throughout the week. Run by Virgin Unite and Business Chicks, I spent the week with 25 entrepreneurial brains as well as 10 world-class phenomenal speakers, not to mention Richard himself. I immersed myself in what was truly a life-changing experience, from the structured mornings and speaking till the afternoons where we spent time by the pool doing water sports, having dinner and sharing our ideas for how we could make the world a better place. The first thing that struck me on day one when Richard snuck into the back of the room with a notebook in hand was how relaxed and calm he was. He was a real everyday kind of guy. There was no fanfare, no everyone, Richard's in the house, just an ordinary guy hanging out in his own home environment. His first address to us was no big prepared speech. It wasn't a business spiel. It wasn't anything in particular except an incredibly personal, quietly spoken discussion about the work that he was doing on his island and the need for more environmental and animal conservation. He sat at the front of the room, barefoot on a stool, and told us all about his island. He spoke of his love of conservation and he went into great detail about the species of animals that he'd introduced and bred on Necker Island. From reintroducing species which had become extinct from the Caribbean, like flamingos, Galapagos tortoises, scarlet herons and giant iguanas. We later learnt of the conservation projects that he supported also globally, like stopping shark fin soup, halting trading for rhino horns and lobbying for more marine reserves. One of the things I also noticed on the island was how genuine and fun all of the Necker and Virgin Unite staff were. They were relaxed, easygoing, and incredibly warm and energetic people. Despite being relaxed and humble, Richard also displayed some of that real charismatic, fun-loving spirit that's so often portrayed in the media when he represents the Virgin brand. He showed a real willingness to take bold risks, to achieve them, and to seize opportunities that others either don't spot or aren't bold enough to attempt. Life wasn't always so cruisy. In fact, he mortgaged his home multiple times in his early days at Virgin Records. And as he shared with us, sometimes his wife didn't even quite know what she was signing.
The only buildings we've already got is the Great House, which has just been completed. We've got our house on the hill here. We've got Barley Low and Barley High in the distance over there. So we've kept the buildings to a minimum. It's enough for about 40 people to stay on the island at one time. Anything more than that, I think, would spoil it. My original plans for Necker was actually to turn it into a recording studio. I didn't continue with that plan, instead decided to turn it into a place where wonderful, interesting people could come, debate issues, think, and have a great time. And I'm quite glad actually that that's where we ended up. The most extraordinary people come to Necker. The Elders was conceived here on Necker with Archbishop Tutu, with President Carter, with Kofi Annan. The Carbon War Room was conceived here, an organisation that tries to work with industry to try to extract carbon out of the Earth's atmosphere. Things like Virgin Galactic, sitting in my hammock looking up at the stars at night, just thought, surely in my lifetime I should be able to go to space. Surely my friends should be able to go to space, my children should be able to go to space. It's a great place to think and a great place to conceive ideas.
As a fun-loving man, he was only too happy to power pose with me in a cape on the top of Necker Island. He welcomed us every day with a kiss and a warm smile, just like we were part of his family. I've always been intrigued by people, and after reading his books, Richard was someone I was keen to meet and see who the real man was behind the brand. I found him to be a fascinating individual, and yet he was so very normal. Actually, to be honest, Richard appeared far more grounded, more human, more present, and more normal than anyone I have ever met in the corporate world. To be honest, the way he blended his life and his business was almost anti-corporate, and it was so very appealing. Our group were lucky enough to be invited to his family home on nearby Mosquito Island, where his family had flown in for his upcoming 65th birthday celebrations. We saw him there dote over his family and in particular his gorgeous grandchildren. We all posed for a group photo and he stood soaring above us like the granddaddy of all entrepreneurs. I am extremely grateful for the opportunity to learn and collaborate with this amazing group of people, and the business lessons and the relationships that we built there were priceless. Now at age 65, and in a stage of life where many people are slowing down and retiring, Branson instead seems to have boundless energy. He's still looking for better ways to do business, to improve inequality, and also to improve his tennis and his kite surfing. Now I'd love to hear from you. What could you learn from Branson and implement in your life or business? Where could you play more, reinvent more, or perhaps disrupt more? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Did you like this video? If so, share it with your team, your colleagues, and maybe even your boss. And if you want even more resources to help you boost your brand and company culture, then head on over to uqpower.com.au. Keep on building a life, a business or career that plays to your unique strengths. The best thing that you can do to change the world is to start with you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time on UQTV.